Hello, everybody. My name is James Litvack, Litvack. I'm happy to be here to talk about Rhode Island Relay. I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to quickly go through all of the services that Rhode Island Relay offers. And then I will close by going into more detail about relay conference captioning, because I feel that in this time of COVID-19, with the increase of online virtual meetings, this is a service that's of vital importance these days. Okay, so let's go through it. What is Rhode Island Relay? It is a free service that provides full telephone accessibility to Rhode Island residents who are deaf, deafblind, hard of hearing, or have a speech disability. A lot of us take talking on the phone for granted, but some of us need special devices or communicate in different ways, and we all deserve to have access to the same telephone systems that everybody else has. A little bit of background on the Rhode Island Relay and relay services in general. They're mandated by the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. The state of Rhode Island currently contracts with Sprint Accessibility to provide relay services. And who pays for relay services? Well, we all do. There's a very small charge on every single telephone bill that covers it. It's available 24/7, 365 days a year. You can make a call from anywhere within Rhode Island. There are no restrictions on the number, length of calls. All calls are considered confidential. No records of any conversation are kept and maintained, so you can use Rhode Island Relay to call your doctor and not be concerned about your privacy being impacted. You can dial 711, or you can use the toll-free number. As I mentioned before, there are different types of relay services. The TTY, TTYs are still being used. You don't see them as much as you used to, but there is still a dedicated population out there that's still using them. And they're primarily used by the deaf and the deafblind. Voice carryover is usually used by hard of hearing people who want to use their own voices during the phone call. They would, the person that they call will send an incoming, the incoming message will come in through the TTY, and they will use their own voice, and the hearing person that they call will hear that voice. Relay conference captioning, I'm going to go into more detail on that later, so we'll skip on that for now. Speech to speech is for people whose speeches are involved, but they can hear enough on the phone that they hearing carryover. Again, that's for people who have speech disabilities. CAPTEL is the caption telephone service that we offer. We also offer services for Spanish-speaking people. I want to stress that this means that it's Spanish to Spanish. It's not an interpreting service. We also have TELEBRAILLE relay services for the deaf-blind, and usually that consists of a device that's attached to a TTY, and the Braille reader is used by the deaf-blind person. IP relay services, that is very similar to TTY relay services, except instead of using a TTY, you're using a web browser with a computer keyboard through the internet. This is a diagram of our TTY service. As you can see, you have the TTY service person. Oops, sorry. The TTY user is calling the relay operator, who then translates everything that the TTY person had typed and voices it to the voice caller. And vice versa. When the person that's using their voice talk, the operator will type, and then the person using the TTY will see it. These are some important tips to some people. For some people, if you're on a TTY relay call and you hear GA, that means go ahead. That means the person using the TTY is ready to hear what you have to say. SK means stop keying, ready to hang up. And when you're using relay service, it's the same as a setup when you're using an interpreter. You want to avoid using terms like tell him, tell her, or I don't want you to say this, but you know. Voice carryover allows the deaf or hard of hearing customer to speak directly to the voice user. A lot of times family members are familiar with somebody's voice and can understand. So these are when things like this can come into play, whenever somebody wants to use their own voice. The person you call will speak. The relay operator will type to you what the person is saying, and then when you respond, you will just respond with your own voice. Relay conference captioning, I will go over this in a little bit, so I'm going to skip over this for now. Speech-to-speech is intended for when somebody has speech involvement, and it's the same concept of with all the other relay service. There's an operator on the line who will revoice what the person is saying. Depending on how the person prefers, sometimes the relay operator will just wait until the other person is having trouble hearing and understanding the person that's having speech difficulty. There's really no special equipment that's needed for just the basic speech-to-speech service. There is also video assisted speech-to-speech, and what that allows with a setup with speech-to-speech is with a webcam, it's through the internet, and it just allows the speech-to-speech operator to see the individual talking. As we all know, a lot of times we can better understand each other when we can actually see the person. But it's the same concept where the operator will revoice what is being said. Hearing carryover is a service for people who have no hearing loss, but for whatever reason are not able to use their voice. It's usually used with a TTY. It could be used with IP relay, which I'll talk about in a bit. If the person who cannot speak will use a TTY device, type what they have to say, and then whoever they call will just speak and they can listen in, and the relay operator will not type what's being spoken. CAPTEL is the caption telephone service that's available from Rhode Island Relay. There are actually a number of different phones available for this service. Some of them, the CAPTEL 240i is a little more fancier. It has a touch screen. It's the one that I personally like. The CAPTEL 840i is really, excuse me. The CAPTEL 840i is a little bit more basic, and a lot of people prefer that one also because it's basic. They don't want all that fancy schmancy stuff. And the CAPTEL 880i is a larger screen for people with low vision. All of the phones, you're allowed to customize the text on it. There are a number of ways to obtain a CAPTEL phone in Rhode Island. You can just purchase it online and pay $75. You can go through what they call third-party certificate. Essentially, that's where you certify that you have a hearing loss and you need to have a phone like this. You can go to the Rhode Island Relay website to get that information, to download and print it, and then mail it in. Also in Rhode Island, there is a loan program called the ATEL program, the Adapted Telephone Equipment Loan Program, where you can get a device free on loan. If you were to ever move out of Rhode Island, you would be asked to return the phone. And you can also visit our website to get more information on that. A little bit earlier, I mentioned the telebraille relay service. Essentially, if for people who are deaf-blind, and telebraille device is attached to the TTY, so it's the same concept of relay to relay, TTY to TTY on relay. And the telebraille, by feeling it, they are able to participate in the phone call. IP relay is the same concept as the TTY to TTY service. Excuse me, I should say TTY to voice caller. You log in on a website, you enter the phone number that you want to call, and you see everything on the screen. IP relay really comes in handy, like if you're in a situation where you don't have a strong internet signal, because it's only the text that's coming through. I personally like to use it when if I'm going to be calling like a help desk or something that's going to be a technical call, like if I'm having trouble with my computers, and I can have all the information in front of me on the screen and stay there so I can refer back to it. I find it very convenient. If you wish, it's not required, but it can be very helpful. You can fill out a profile with Rhode Island Relay, and when you call Rhode Island Relay, we'll have all of your information ready to go, such as your contact information, your phone calls that you frequently call, emergency numbers, customer notes. Let's say, for example, you prefer a male or a female operator, many things like that. But again, and it's not required to access relay services. If you have any trouble, please reach out to us. We have customer service. This information is available on our website. There's just some other ways that you can use relay that sometimes people don't think about. You can use it for access and voicemail. You can also use it for directory assistance. And granted, we don't see these very much in the wild anymore, but you can TTYs on a public payphone. You can use relay, like if your cell phone was not working for some reason, you could run to a public, find one, and then use the TTY that's attached to the public telephone. You have to bear with me, I get tongue-tied sometimes. And of course, you can use it for emergency calls. Of course, when emergency calls, it's a good idea to be able to give them your home information or where you're calling from, depending on how you're using the relay service. That's another benefit of the profile. It could have your address in it. And of course, we have Spanish relay for Spanish-speaking residents. If you have any further questions about the services that I just talked about, please hold on 1 second. Okay, and you can reach out to us if you have any questions or want to find out more about some services that I just offered. All of our contact information is on the Rhode Island Relay website. And if you want more specific information, you can go to the individual websites. And we also have a Facebook page that you can reach out to us. Okay, thank you for listening to me and learning more about Rhode Island Relay. And please stick around because now I'm going to go into more detail for relay conference captioning. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Now I'm going to talk about relay conference captioning. It's a service that's really becoming useful with all of the virtual online meetings that have been happening nowadays. Okay, let's begin. Relay conference captioning, from now on, I'll refer to it as RCC to make it easier for us all. RCC allows people who are deaf or hard of hearing to participate in multi-party conference calls or webinars through an internet-connected computer, laptop, or mobile device. It provides real-time captioning online during the meeting or the teleconference call. How does it work? We have a captioner that will be listening in on the call, who will be transcribing the call as it happens. The deaf or hard of hearing individual will read the captions on a computer monitor, tablet, or a mobile device. How does the person participate in the conference call? Well, it's based on personal preference. You can type into the computer what you want to say, and the captioner will voice for you, or if you prefer, you can voice for yourself. Here are some facts about the RCC service. It provides real lifetime text stream to any internet computer, laptop, or mobile device. It uses the same high-quality captioners that produce captions for live TV shows, news, sports, or the weather. The captions are delivered at speeds up to 180 words per minute. We maintain an accuracy of 98% or better. To access RCC, start the process, go into RhodeIslandRelay.com/RCC. You'll want to go to where it says book an event to make a reservation. You'll need to provide them with information such as the telephone number to call in and what the access code is if you require it. You do need to give at least 48 hours notice to guarantee the service. It's available from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can request a transcript when you're booking the RC event. I'll go into more detail on that a little bit. We do ask that you can, if the event is going to be canceled, you cancel it within 24 hours by emailing rcc@sprint.com. When you go to book an event, a lot of it is basic information, such as name and contact information. But what is really interesting and great about this service is that you have options. As I mentioned before, relay services are confidential. However, for some teleconference meetings, you may want to have your own record of the meeting. You may want to be able to provide it to other people that were participating in this call. So when you set up RCC, you have the option to control like what happened to the transcript after the meeting. If you want that transcript deleted and gone forever, you check the option where it says destroy transcript to protect my confidentiality. However, if you want to have a record remain, you can check those options also. You can also allow people to save the text or to have that text emailed to themselves. After you have reserved the event, you will get an email with information. When it's time for that event, you'll click on the link that's in that email. You have the option, once the captions have begun, you do have the option to change the font and the text and the background colors. The two-way captioning service, RCC is a two-way captioning service. So if you can look at the bottom of the screen, you can see where it says message to captioner. That's where you can say, please say this for me. You can also let the captioner know if something is going on. And the captioner can also send you messages if there's an audio quality problem, or etc. As I mentioned earlier, you will be given options when you set up the service, like if you want people to be able to save the transcript at the end of the call. When you go to the transcript tab, and at the bottom there'll be those options that you see circled in the red. Here are some tips for using RCC. You can provide preparation materials, but you will get that email confirming, and what you can do is you can reply back and include any PowerPoints or any documents that you'll be referring to during the meeting. Not required, but it can help make for better service. Excuse me. You can set ground rules for RCC, such as having people identify themselves before they speak, ask speakers to take turns talking, ensure that all non-speaking people have their phones on mute to avoid the echo. Another thing that's very helpful is to reduce background noise when you're talking, like don't be shuffling around with papers and all of that. But one thing to keep in mind, these are actually good rules to have, even if you're not using RCC service. To run a good meeting, you want to be doing this anyway. It is possible to embed the RCC service with certain online platforms such as Office Live Meeting, YouTube Live, WebEx, and Adobe Connect, and that will allow the RCC caption to show up right in the platform itself. Actually, let me go back to that. But even if you're using a platform where you can't embed it, like for Zoom, for example, it can't be embedded. What I do is I open up the RCC in a web browser, then I open up Zoom, and then I do a split screen. So I can see Zoom on one side of the screen and the captions on the other side, and it was fine. There's some basic technical requirements. If you are one of the people that are still using Windows 95, you're not going to be able to do it, along with a lot of other things. It's optimized for Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. The Microsoft Windows 10 or newer, or for Apple computers, OS X. A high-speed internet connection is required for this service. I also want to point out that you can also use it on your iPad, your mobile phone. I was recently at a meeting where there were no computers or laptops available, so we put the RCC on my smartphone. And the other person that was using this sat right next to me, and we set up the phone right in front of me, and it works out perfectly. What are the benefits of using RCC? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is it makes your meeting accessible to people that are deaf or hard of hearing. It's increased understanding of conference call meetings, the webinars, delivery of the live caption and transcript option. You can save it later if you want. It's available anywhere where there is an internet access. I was talking about how I was able to use a cell phone even though there were no computers in the room. There's no need to install any special apps or purchase software. You can use your existing browsers. It's easy and it works. Again,